Hey everyone, welcome to my third YouTube video blog. Today is Sunday, October 21st, and today I'm trying to take a personal day just to go and explore Louisville because in the 9 weeks or so that I've lived here, I really haven't gone out or done anything at all because I've been so consumed in being a TA, a full-time student, an entrepreneur on the side, planning all of my recitals, and generally practicing. So I'm going to bike all the way out to Cherokee Park, which is on the far east side of Louisville, to go hopefully hiking. We can kind of fall into this trap of consuming our weekends with all sorts of things that we would also do during the week. What's the point of calling it a weekend if you're not really, taking time off? How's my outfit? Don't know if I like the hat. Maybe gray is better. I like the color more. So I'm currently biking to Cherokee Park, and it's just a little weird for me because this is the first time in over 2 years that I have biked in temperatures below 55 degrees. Okay, so currently I'm on Bardstown Road, which is apparently one of the busier, I guess, nightlife bar areas in Louisville. I guess it's kind of cute. There's a lot of police cars out today. I don't really know what that's about. So I take it this is the Coral Gables of Louisville with all these nice homes, but not quite. This is the entrance to Cherokee Park. So far it's super gorgeous, kind of spooky actually. Looks like there actually might be some good hiking here. Well, I just parked my bike here in Cherokee Park and I'm about to set out and do some hiking. So, yay. To say, after living in Miami for 2 years, I really do appreciate seeing colors like this again. I don't know what the hell this is. It looks like a giant boa constrictor or something. It only took about 45 minutes to bike here from Old Louisville, so that's not that bad. When I used to bike from Coral Gables to South Beach in Florida, it would usually take me an hour and like 10 minutes, so this is really good. So the purpose of me making this video today is not just to show you my day trip to Cherokee Park. It is actually to talk about minimalist living. Minimalist living is something that's pretty close to me for a number of reasons. I had parents who bought me a lot, and as I got older, I started to realize that I didn't need all of these things, and they sort of just clogged my life. And I think it wasn't until I started going to college and moving and having to carry things all over the place that I started to realize how annoying it was to have so much stuff. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people start living minimalist lives because they have an experience growing up that puts them in that situation. Growing up, my parents worked an hour and a half away from where we lived, which forced them to go through so many different cars and to drive 3 hours a day, which took their time away from their family. And sitting in a car for 3 hours a day probably isn't great. I mean, I can't imagine what truck drivers do, but it's still not good. And so that sort of was a great example of what not to do for me. I've gone through a lot of things in the last 2 years that have just made it necessary for me to not have a lot, to travel with a very small suitcase. When you're used to making less than, well, for me it's been probably $11,000 or $12,000 a year for the last couple of years since I graduated undergrad, it's like I can't afford a car. I choose to bike absolutely everywhere I go unless there is some other form of public transportation. And here in Louisville, I haven't really found a good reason to look into public transportation because I live so close to school. So I just bike everywhere I need to go. I bike to the grocery store, which is for me about an 8 to 10 minute bike ride. Oh look, a pretty pond. For me, living a minimalist life hasn't really been about having everything super always clean and organized. You know, my room is very organized, but I don't always have a place for everything. Sometimes things are a mess, but I clean them up very quickly after I see that they are a mess. Look at this, so pretty. So when I travel, I bring this little suitcase, and I pack it extremely tight with only the bare minimum of things I need. When it comes to pants and shorts and such, like, say I'm going to Europe for a week for a trip, I will probably only pack one pair of pants, a pair of shorts, and maybe a pair of athletic shorts. And for shirts, I'll probably always pack the number of shirts that I need for a given time, but you know, pants and things I always restrict how much I bring just because they take up a lot of space. Back to having cars for a moment, like, for those of you who have cars, like, isn't it just a pain to have to pay car insurance and have to get your oil changed? I don't even know how to change a tire. Like, what would I do? I mean, I drove for a long time, but I don't know how to do any of those things. I just know how to drive. But it just seems like there's so much to do with paying for cars, and quite frankly, I'm just not interested in it. I'd rather just, like, go get some exercise and bike to the store. I'm also still at this point in my life where I feel like making $20,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it's only because I am a minimalist and I'm used to surviving off of less than $12,000 a year. For me, minimalism is also knowing when to, you know, stop working and just take time like I am today to go out and enjoy life, see new things, and put off your work problems until tonight or tomorrow or whenever. You know, maybe procrastinate a little, I don't care. But, like, as long as you're living and giving yourself the time to do it, I think that's great. When I go grocery shopping, actually, I am pretty used to buying the same kinds of things all the time. I eat primarily 3 specific things every day. I usually eat a smoothie for breakfast, or drink a smoothie, I suppose. And then for lunch, I'm pretty used to just eating sandwiches and maybe an apple or something. And then for dinner, I either eat some sort of pasta with vegetables, or I make some sort of burrito concoction. But this allows me to sort of have a schedule for what I want to do. Like, because for me, my work is sort of everything. And so if I can have what I eat sort of figured out and on a schedule, it makes what I do with my music and my art just so much easier. I also just drink water. Like, I don't drink anything else. Like, I don't even really drink alcohol anymore. I know that's, for most people, that's probably hard to believe. Actually, I drink more during the summers than I ever do during the school year. It's just like a lot of money to spend, and I'd rather isolate it in the summer. I know for some of you, it's probably hard to believe that I like minimalism so much because you probably see me posting these photos amongst the $1 million condos in downtown Miami or in Beverly Hills or wherever I am. And, you know, it's true. I do have kind of an obsession with wealth and the things that wealth affords you. But that doesn't mean that I want those things for myself. You know, I often think about what it would be like if I was a lot wealthier and what I would buy and what I wouldn't. Like, would I buy a car? Would I care to have that extra comfort? Or would I just be like, well, I'm just gonna put all this money in the bank and just, like, keep riding my bike around, you know? Like, I'm not really sure what I would do, and I guess I'll not know until I get there. But for now, I sort of just like observing the rich and seeing what their lives are like. And, you know, it does have another purpose too. I think it helps to know rich people, particularly as a musician. So, if you're thinking of starting to be a minimalist, my advice for you would be to look at what you own and say, what amongst all of this junk do I not need? And for some people that will be like clothes. You know, I know so many people, they just have so many clothes. And I have a lot of clothes still back at my home in Wisconsin that, you know, I haven't worn in 7, 8 years. They're from high school. You know, I just need to donate them all, but they're still sitting there. But at least I don't have them with me now. That helps me in my minimalist living. And you know, for other people, it might be items such as gadgets, computers, other random items that they just have cluttered all over the place. And for people who can afford larger things, you know, maybe they have a lot of other kinds of things like, I don't know, lawnmowers, vacuums, extra shit just sitting around. Like, just start looking, what do you have doubles of? What can you just say, hey, do I have a friend who might need this? Yeah, maybe I'll just give it to them. Or do you have a lot of books that you just don't read? You know, for some people they might want their library, but you know, for me, I'm not really sure. I read a book and then I'm like, well, if my friend wants it, I'll just give it to them. Holy shit, I just got scared like crazy by a deer. Look at it. Can you see it? Oh my god. Another one of the ways in which I am kind of a minimalist is that I've been very fortunate in my life that I've been very healthy and that I have not had to have any major surgeries or take many drugs for any sort of purpose. I think the only drugs I've ever taken were for acne when I was a freshman in high school, and no, it was not, what's that one that everyone uses? It's kind of bad. I don't know. But then I also took beta blockers and experimented with them in college. But other than that, I mean, I don't even know what aspirin is. You know, I took those little like Flintstone gummies when I was a kid, but that's all I remember. Like, I've been sick for the last like 10 days, but it's been the first time I've been sick in maybe a year, which is pretty typical for me. And like, instead of trying to fight it with some sort of drugs I could buy at Walgreens or whatever, I just drink tea and drink a lot of water, eat healthy. I work out when I'm sick. Like, I've been sick right now in the kind of way that like you can still be functional. Like, it's not the kind where I'm like in bed and I have to like die for a few days. You know, that's not gonna happen. I sort of just ride it out, you know? I love when you walk a long way just to get to a dead end and a river. Great job, Brandon. It is really clear though. When it comes to social media, I get pretty particular in how I handle my apps. So with Facebook, I'll add anyone that I know. And with Instagram, I like to have a smaller group of people that I follow. I know that for a lot of millennials, that might be hard to swallow, but I know, I just like don't like seeing a lot of posts on Instagram every day because I already see so much on Facebook that I want to have an app that is sort of controlled, you know? One thing I don't manage well at all is my Gmail account. Like, it's real bad. Like, I have over like 50,000 unread emails. Oh, and my voicemail is also kind of the same. It scares everyone who sees my laptop or my phone. I think one of the most important things for me, though, being a minimalist, is to realize what in my life I want to be minimal and what I still want to be big. Like, for instance, like all of my living stuff, I like that to be clean, managed, and simple. So that way I can have the ease and simplicity to just pick up and go. Say, I want to move every year of my life. Well, it's going to be really easy to do if I just don't have a lot of stuff, you know, and then I get to experience just so much, and it's exciting, although probably exhausting. But, you know, I like to live big still, and that's important to me. What are these scooters? There's these scooters that everyone has been taking, and I see them all over Louisville, and they like charge themselves and shit. Like, I don't know. So it's been really beautiful here in Cherokee Park, although I have to say the hiking kind of let me down. Like, you know, after doing Colorado and California and Zurich, well, yeah, just can't quite compare, but that's fine. I feel like the Cherokee Park area of Louisville is like the Cherry Creek area of Denver. It just seems really residential, but also quite posh. So I guess all the police cars from earlier were to stop vehicles from getting onto the road because there's some sort of I don't know, day where they're letting everyone bike and walk in the road. This is very strange, but cool. So post Cherokee Park, I am coming to Walgreens to pick up a bunch of photos that I need printed. Look at this. I've been needing to get these photos printed for so long so I can hang them up in my room. So now I'm rolling back into old Louisville, and I feel like I have a new appreciation for it now after seeing another really beautiful area of Louisville. Because, you know, in the time I've been here, I've had some ups and downs emotionally, and not sure if I've liked it, but, you know, I think seeing some new stuff really helped me today. So one of the things I like to do, because I don't have a lot of things, is I like to print photos from over the years and hang them on the walls of my room. So, oh gosh. This is when my housemates in Miami, my first year, decided that they were going to have a huge frat party, and there was like, I swear, 150 people over at our place, and they trashed it, and I woke up in the morning to this kind of thing. Ah, so memorable. How could you ever get over going to school on a campus like this? I love this one. The skyscrapers in Miami are just fantastic and so photogenic. So I got home from Cherokee Park just a little while ago, and I thought I would give a little tour of my apartment to kind of show how I minimalize everything that I do. It's really small, and I have my freezer and fridge. I have the stove, a little corner here for recycling. This sink is very small, so it was almost like I feel like this apartment was designed for me. And here I put one of my favorite photographs that I took one morning in Prague back in 2015. I have my little mug collection here, so I didn't make these, but I've bought, like this one for instance, I bought at a little festival hosted at the University of Miami in 2017. It was actually made by this lady who I always used to talk to when I worked in the ceramics studio my first year. This is my living room. It is very cute and cozy. It's not that big, as you might expect. I don't really put much stuff on this little table here. This is one of my ceramic boxes. I bought this in Cape Cod over the summer. I've been looking for a really tiny teapot for the longest time, and this was the nicest one I've ever found, and it was really cheap because it was from a thrift shop. This is one of my small boxes. Sort of making small artwork has become really important to me. And then these, my housemate from Dubai in 2016 in Miami left these behind when he moved to India. And so they're like these little Persian rug placeholders, although as you can see here, I always forget to place them down, and my mugs seem to do this strange thing to the table. Does anyone know what that is? I don't know. This is my bathroom, and I mean, I guess I'm basic. Eiffel Tower, yeah. And this is my room. So I actually really, really love my room. It has really nice natural lighting here in the afternoon. I like to line my walls with maps from the hostels that I've stayed in various countries. So I got like London, Berlin, Salzburg, Munich, Paris. I sort of have a little shrine to London over here. And then I have various photos from the different places I've been, so today I'm gonna take some time to put up more of those photos that I printed this afternoon. My desk, wherever I've been, has always been kind of a shrine. I always just have little things like my own artwork, a pine cone here from Appleton, Wisconsin. I bought this at a big ceramics festival in London when I studied abroad. It was my favorite artist that I saw at the festival, and so I thought I just had to buy his cheapest piece, and this was it. It was 20 pounds. A lot of this stuff is stuff that I found at thrift shops. This actually was a rock that for some reason when I was a kid I was super obsessed with it. It's like I thought I had magical powers or something. I don't know. So I keep it. It reminds me of younger days. I always keep like a book that I'm reading. So I'm performing the cello suites in a couple weeks. So I checked out this book and I've been slowly getting through it. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is a little card from the Sir Restaurant and Lounge in Beverly Hills, California. So like the lady who owns this place is one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I'm kind of a big fan of that show. This here is this beautiful little bracelet that I bought when I was in Venice on the island of Murano. So it's actually what they call Murano glass here. Unfortunate thing is it's very hard to put on, so I rarely ever wear it. I have all of my journals from when I started journaling in 2007 and some books. And here is my closet. As you can see, I sort of fit everything very organized here. I didn't even bother to buy something to put my clothes in outside of the closet, so I sort of just pile them into my extra containers here, and then just put some extra stuff, towels and trinkets, scarves, sheet music and such above. You might be wondering, where's the bed? Well, actually, ta-da! So I bought this Japanese futon on Amazon right before I moved to Louisville, and so it's a very thin mat. And the first few days that I used it, I wasn't super happy with it. I don't know how it made my back feel. But it actually, after a few days, my back got really used to it. And I've really enjoyed using it. I can fold it up every single morning. And that way, my entire room, I just have so much space. So if I want to do yoga in here, I just feel like I have all the room in the world to move, and it's great. This really just helps me, because if I'm moving somewhere, I don't have to move a giant bed. I just have this thing I can roll up and ship or drive. So, it's really simple. Also, if you want to be a minimalist, don't buy a ton of shoes. Like, I only own 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, so, it keeps things simple. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Oh my god. I really am in the South now. I have this accent. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're thinking about going minimalist, I say go for it, because I felt so much more free living this lifestyle, and I really think it's great overall. So, anyways, have a good week, and I will be back again with another video next week. Bye!